Dear students, now the present topic is on thoracic duct. Thoracic duct is the largest lymphatic vessel which drains the lymph from most of the body into the bloodstream. So the cells of the immune system circulate through lymphatic system. So it is a immune system, part of immune system. And apart from immune cells, the large macromolecules which are the end products of digestion like lipids, means the fat molecules, first absorbed by the lymphatic system and then it reaches the venous system via the lymphatic ducts. So the venous system is the systemic circulation where the lymphatic duct terminates into systemic circulation finally. So that is the reason the lymph in the thoracic duct is milky white in appearance, because it contains the products of lipid digestion. So this product of lipid digestion is called as chyle. So from the small intestine, we see the lymphatics are white, milky white appearance due to the presence of chyle within them. So the duct appears to be beaded due to the presence of numerous valves in the lumen. So we can see the thoracic duct beaded in appearance because of numerous valves. Let's see the area of drainage of the thoracic duct. As we know, the thoracic duct is the largest lymphatic duct which drains almost all parts of the body, means almost 75% of the body, except few areas. So it does not drain the right upper quadrant of the body, that is the right upper limb. This is the right side. It's the right upper limb and right part of the chest, right lung, right part of the heart and right side of head and neck. So these areas, the lymph is drained into right lymphatic duct. Whereas the rest of the body, even the right surface of liver. So this right side of upper quadrant of the body drains into right lymphatic duct, whereas the rest of the left side of the body and the lower abdomen and lower both the limbs, right and left limbs, drains into the thoracic duct. Let's see the extent of the thoracic duct. Thoracic duct extends from the upper end of cisterna chyli. So the dilated one is the cisterna chyli. So on the posterior abdominal wall, the cisterna chyli is present. So at the lower border of T12, so cisterna chyli is present at the lower border of T12 and where it continues above to it as the thoracic duct. So here is the cisterna chyli. And we can see the thoracic duct, it runs till the junction of the left internal jugular vein and left subclavian. So the thoracic duct, it terminates at the junction of left internal jugular vein and left subclavian vein. So if we see the length of the thoracic duct, it is approximately 45 centimeters, that is around 18 inches in length, and almost the same size of the spinal cord or the length of the thigh bone. So let's see the formation, course and termination of thoracic duct. The duct begins in the abdomen at the level of T12, where the cisterna chyli continues above as the thoracic duct. So it is the continuation of the cisterna chyli which is lying in front of L1 and L2 vertebra. So cisterna chyli is between L1 and L2 vertebrae and it is like a dilated sac at the lower end of the thoracic duct, and it enters the thorax through the aortic opening of the diaphragm. So along with the aorta, the thoracic duct enters into the thorax through the aortic opening of the diaphragm. It then ascends in the posterior mediastinum to the right of the midline on the front of the vertebral bodies. So on reaching T5 vertebra, it crosses the midline. So we can see here up to T5 vertebra, it is present in the midline. Beyond the T5 vertebral level, it crosses the midline from right to left side and enters the superior mediastinum to run along the left border of the esophagus and reaches the root of the neck. So here we can see the green one is the thoracic duct and this is the esophagus. So it is along the esophagus and later it crosses the esophagus and where it terminates here at the junction of internal jugular vein and left subclavian vein, and this is the termination. So at the root of the neck, it arches laterally at the level of C7 vertebra. So we can see this termination or the arch at the level of C7 vertebral level in front of the vertebral vessels, that is vertebral artery and vein, and left cervical sympathetic trunk, and lies posterior the carotid system. So it lies posterior to the carotid system, which includes left common carotid, left internal jugular vein and left vagus. All three together considered as left carotid system. Further, it arches the summit of the arch of thoracic duct. It is approximately around 3 to 4 centimeters above the left clavicle. Finally, the thoracic duct descends in front of the first part of the subclavian artery and it terminates commonly at the junction of internal jugular vein and subclavian vein, and that is the left subclavian vein and left internal jugular vein. This angle is called as Pyrgov's angle. Let's see the tributaries of the thoracic duct. The chief tributaries are right and left lumbar lymph trunks. So right and left lumbar lymph trunks, and also the chief tributaries are right and left intestinal lymph trunks. So the intestinal lymph trunks are milky white in color because they contain chyle in them, and their confluence is known as cisterna chyli. So cisterna chyli is formed by the confluence of lumbar lymph trunks and the intestinal lymph trunks from below. So the term at its termination, it has the left jugular, left bronchomediastinal trunks. This is the left. So these are the main tributaries of the thoracic duct. And let's see some clinical correlation of thoracic duct. Chylothorax means the accumulation of lymphatic fluid in the space surrounding the lung, that is in the pleural space. If there is accumulation of lymphatic fluid, it is called as chylothorax. The lymph formed in the digestive system is called as chyle, and it accumulates in the pleural space due to either disruption or obstruction of thoracic duct. Obstruction of the thoracic duct, it can be due to the filarial infection. So the thoracic duct is obstructed by the microfilarial parasites. These microfilarial parasites are Wuchereria bronchofti is its scientific name. So because of this obstruction, which leads to the widespread of chylothorax. So the obstruction of these lymphatics results in chylothorax in thoracic region. Sometimes may also lead to chyloperitoneum if the obstruction is present in the abdomen. Chylouria and or even the accumulation of chyle in the tunica vaginalis of testis in males, which is called as chylocele. So these are the various conditions which are due to the obstruction of the thoracic duct. Injury of the thoracic duct, as the thoracic duct is thin walled and it is a translucent structure, so it's sometimes injured carelessly during surgical procedures in the posterior mediastinum. So tear or laceration of the thoracic duct during lung surgeries results in the chyle entering into the pleural cavity, producing a clinical condition, that is chylothorax. Virchow's node or Trousseau's node. It refers to the carcinomatous involvement of supraclavicular nodes at the junction of thoracic duct and the left subclavian vein. So usually nodal enlargement is caused by the metastatic gastric carcinoma. Although supraclavicular nodes involvement can also be seen in other gastrointestinal or thoracic and pelvic cancers. So the gastric cancers tend to metastasis to this region by means of migration of tumor emboli through the thoracic duct, where the subdiaphragmatic lymphatic drainage enters the venous circulation in the left subclavian vein. So this is how the cancer spreads into the venous system via the thoracic duct. So this completes the anatomy of thoracic duct. Thank you.